Hi there, everybody. I just realized I forgot to make an important change. So let's do that live. Let's do it on the fly here. Um, how do you do that? There we go. We've got a real doozy of a game today. I don't know exactly what to name this. Do it like that. There we go. I guess I should formally introduce everything. Hello again, everybody. I'm Mike the Gamer Guy, and welcome into the stream for today, the 24th of March. Today we're looking at something that's hugely exciting for me. It's almost beyond words in a way, as incredibly nerdy as that is. This is a currently undumped Pokemon remake for the NES that's known as Pokemon Diamond 1, but in reality it's actually based on Ruby and Sapphire, or possibly Emerald. I'm not exactly sure, but Sapphire is my best guess as we're about to see. And I also apologize because I have somewhat of a sore throat, so don't have the strongest voice right now, but who cares? Let's get into this game, we'll talk about it, and I'll discuss some of my plans for it going forward. So we'll be playing it on the AVS, so we'll get to experience this in glorious HD. So here's the company apparently responsible for it. Time to lay some more background, I suppose. A couple weeks ago, I streamed a game based on Pokemon Soul Silver, and that was by a company known as Shenzhen Genkoda, technology company. This game has two sequels, Pokemon Diamond 2 and Pokemon Diamond 3 respectively, and they're released by Shenzhen Hegendianzi. And now we have this Shenzhen Shinantan Gidianzi Ojangong something. And they seem to be yet another company, or possibly, most likely, Hegendianzi before they underwent some sort of name change. All these companies are very closely linked, it seems, to. So there you go, there's Kyogre, which is the best information we have as to this being related to Sapphire over any of the other games. And actually, now that I'm looking at it, I think that the screen is slightly it's cutting off some of the information, so let's take care of that real quick. As to my knowledge, this is the first video of this. I kind of want it to be as good as possible. Let's just... It's actually cutting off quite a bit. Come on, there we go. And I guess we'll have to shrink that down just a tad then. This is all stuff I should have done before the stream started. My apologies. Okay. Almost done. There. Okay. We'll call that good. Because I think the other side's pretty much correct. Well, we can always make changes as we go on. Let's get into the game, right? So there's a save file already on here. This game does support saves. And those of you who saw that Pokemon Soul Silver stream are probably having flashbacks because this should look very similar to that game. I think it's running on almost an identical engine. Let's start a new game though. There he is, Professor Birch. One thing I was really happy to see is that this does seem fairly faithful. I mean, I'm no Pokemon expert, honestly. Maybe I shouldn't be the one talking about this, but it does, as far as I can tell, seem fairly faithful to the third-gen Pokemon games in terms of the Pokemon in the games. In Soul Silver, for example, it was all Gen 4 Pokemon from Diamond and Pearl, even though it was set in Johto. Here, the Pokemon selection seems correct. And it also seems to be quite accurate in the story front, too. I was just checking to make sure we were getting sound from the Elgato. Okay, let's actually... Darn. Let's bring in that right side, too. The AVS is a little bit annoying to work with in terms of like resolution options and stuff. The Super NT, which we've been messing around with on the previous streams, really nice. Tons of options for how you want it to handle the resolution of the game and everything. Here you just don't have as many options, and it's kind of it can be difficult. There we go, though. Now we have all the picture at least. So let's get into it. So seeing that this is an undumped game, a lot of people's question might be, are you going to try and get it dumped? The answer is yes. We've actually already attempted to once, so that unfortunately failed. So we're exploring other options, but before I do that, I just wanted to do a live stream, take a look at it, see what it's all about, and also I'm going to throw together a review overview thing, because I also, aside from just getting the game, one thing too, this 8-bit GameCube is just sort of weirdly meta or surreal. It's kind of strange, but anyway. So yeah, I just wanted to put together a video. I have the actual packaging for this with the manual, which is, it's really interesting. I was going to snap a few photos, but then I ran out of time. You'll see that in the video review. But yeah, I'm really into game preservation, so I'm all about getting this thing dumped. You may have noticed there's supposed to be a fight there where Poochyena shows up, and we fight it, and we get to select our Pokemon. You don't get to select a Pokemon here. You are forced to use Torchic, which is okay. It's probably the best Pokemon in Gen 3. I think I said that in a video, actually. Oh, hi, the game nerd. I will upload the soundtrack. That's a great idea. Thanks for coming up with that. We should be able to dump it. I'm sure I can find somebody who's interested in doing that work. So actually, let's look here. The menus are straight out of those Gencoda titles. Also, just talking about the history of this game real quick, I guess, since I think that's of note. As I understand it, for the longest time, there was a part 1 of the Pokemon Diamond ROM out there, but it was actually just the second part with a different title screen. It was kind of assumed that that's all that the part 1 was just a title hack, or the part 2 was just a title hack of that one, and this is actually the first part. I think that's as I understand it. Alternatively, it could be that this game was out there but with a different title screen or a later title screen from maybe Higgin Dianze itself. It's kind of weird. There's not a lot of information on a lot of these remakes from the late 2000s, honestly. I think this came out in 2008 is what I read, so yeah, kind of crazy. It's unfortunate. It doesn't seem like there's too much fanfare around... Oh, what's that thing called? A Wurmple? Oh, that's right. So something we did on the previous stream of Pokemon Soul Silver was we had Google Translate on hand for some helpful advice in case we needed it, so I might as well bring that up. And I don't know. I'm not getting paid by Google, unfortunately, but I would just like to say that this Google Translate app for Android is really pretty cool. You can just take a picture of the screen, and it will translate the text for you. Sometimes actually on the fly. So let's see what it gives us for this. According to Google Translate, this guy's name is Bark. I don't know how accurate that is. It is one of the few enemies with an actual pupil, which is a strange thing about this game. Torchic's name, by the way, is Firehorse, which is maybe the most perfect thing ever. Don't think we have any Pokeballs. So something that this game actually has over the Gencoda games, even though I think they came out later, is that the bottom of the Pokemon sprite isn't too high up, so it's not like they're cut off. It's like positioned correctly. It's a really minor thing, but I was really happy to see that. It's a little detail that kind of brings down the other games just the slightest bit. Yeah, I would imagine that the Retron 5 probably wouldn't work. I hear it has pretty poor compatibility as far as that stuff goes. And I'm not sure, like I said, we tried to get this dumped once before. I'm not sure exactly what methods were used. All I heard was that it actually crashed the dumping software. I don't know if it was using Copy NES, that Kevtris thing, or maybe a Retro Freak. I'm honestly not sure. We'll just have to find out. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on in, well, just like the aftermarket NES, what's this? Buy, sell, oh, that was just exit, okay. You know, the aftermarket NES scene right now. One thing that I thought was really cool is there was this handheld Oregon Trail game that came out recently, and I guess it was running on NES hardware. So people are thinking about dumping the ROM, and then we could potentially have Oregon Trail for NES on a cartridge, which is insanely cool. How do you save? Is this save? Oh, there we go. We're going to want to do that often. I was playing the port of Pokemon Diamond that I have with my brother Tom, and we ran into an unfortunate soft locking situation. Yeah, I can't go that way. Where if you run out of PP, what's that stand for anyway? Pokemon points? Physical points? Anyway, if you run out of it, power points probably. If you run out of it, then you can't do any sort of attack. You can't even do a struggle, so you're just dead in the water, and you can't move forward. So we're gonna try and avoid that. Needless to say. Awesome. Yeah, definitely. See you later. Thanks for stopping by. Always a pleasure. So there's Mudkip. And it's soulless. Dead eyes. It's, weirdly enough, still kind of appealing how we died. Well, that's no good. I guess we should probably catch something, right? I'll just walk around up here. Could have used a potion, I guess. But let's get this Poochyena with our fire horse. Poochyena's name is PP, according to Google Translate. Eventually, my plan actually, for future streams, I don't know how I would do this. I'm sure I could figure out a way though, is to have Google Translate running on my end so that it'll automatically translate the video information on the screen for you guys to see. Which would be pretty neat, in my opinion. Yes. Heal that up. And then we will retry the Mudkip. And just like with the Gencoda game, very nice rendition of all the music, in my opinion. Much better than Wise Sheen's attempts. Speaking of Wise Sheen, actually, there's like an absolute massive number of undumped games that have sort of been uncovered. That I don't know, even know if we know that they were released, is sort of the interesting thing there. I think the Cat King is one of them, and there's just a ton that showed up on the Bootleg Games Wiki's undumped game list. My Fire Horse is not doing very good. I guess that makes sense, though. It does have a disadvantage. Oh, this one. There we go. He looks so angry. That's fun. What's this do? Not much is the answer. Don't imagine that that does much either. There we go. Bye, May. Oh, shoot. No, we don't need another one of you. I love the touch that they actually show you which ones you've caught. And the fully functioning Pokedex with actual Pokedex entries is insanely cool. It's one of my favorite elements, actually. This game, once it gets out there, is in desperate need of a translation because it is very good. Really, the only thing that those Gencoda games do any better is just that you're getting an entire experience in one cartridge, where this is broken up over multiple carts. Actually, bring up the Pokedex real quick. And read Torchic's entry. That's always fun. Assuming it'll work, I hope so. Bear licks flame and has loose body. Oh man, that's quality. Oh, I still can't go that way. Huh. Maybe I need to return to, what is it, Little Root Town? Don't exactly remember, but doesn't each Pokemon game sort of have a motif when it comes to the town naming convention? Is this one trees? Just talk to everybody again, I guess. It's a real disadvantage of not knowing any Chinese. I wonder what they refer to that as, actually. Because I don't think the GameCube came out in China. Instead, they had that IQ thing, didn't they? There we go. Am I talking to somebody? I don't know. It doesn't look like I'm looking at anyone. Okay. I guess I did the right thing. Anyway, I'm super excited for the prospect of an Oregon Trail Famicom cartridge whenever that happens. Interested to know too who that was weird. Who was responsible for programming that? The suggestion I threw out there was maybe Nice Code, because they handled some licensed stuff actually in the past. Like the Atari Flashback. Everyone who's familiar with the first iteration of that, that was all NES ports of Atari games that Nice Code, well, coded. Probably get some more guys here soon. Oh, after we fight this guy and his Zigzagoon. They do so great with the sprite artwork in these. It's incredible. It's really a shame that there never was a I'm getting annihilated though, which isn't a good thing. It's sort of unfortunate that we never got a console Pokemon game during this era, but I guess it never really had an opportunity. Wow. This is sort of tough. I guess I really just need more guys. I'm not sure exactly how to gauge the challenge yet. I want to say it's not as bad as Pokemon Yellow by Nanjing, but we'll just keep on seeing here. At this point now, I kind of want to collect a Pokemon port from each of the major players. So I got Weixin covered. I've got, well, this isn't a major player, but Shenzhen Non-Kato blah, and I got Shenzhen Genkota. So that means that I want to get Hagen Dianzi and Shenzhen Nanjing next, and then I'll be fairly satisfied. I think that accounts for most of the big ones. I guess Dianzi released a fairly interesting three-parter of Pokemon Leaf Green that has some similarities to Pokemon Yellow from Nanjing. So maybe that one if I can find it, but as far as rarity goes, this is probably the most rare. And then Dianzi, I want to say, then Genkota, then Nanjing, but I mean, basically Shenzhen Nanjing is the only one that I've seen somewhat regularly, to be honest. Okay, let's try and fight that guy again with our souped up team. He's one guy. I don't know why it's so much more powerful than my Torchic. They're the same level. What's this do? Oh my god. This is nuts. I think we're looking at a repeat. Wow. He didn't expect that I would have a Zigzagoon of my own, though. Who, despite being level 2, is somehow doing the best. That's totally strange. Okay, I just gotta level guys up. Time to go on the grind, which is not something I wanted to do whatsoever. Oh well. So, I think we've covered most things about the history of the game. I guess I could talk briefly, since I can't show it, I can talk briefly about the game's box and manual. It's using artwork from some source that I am not at all familiar with, but my best guess would be Final Fantasy or some equivalent Chinese MMO. But Or I mean World of Warcraft. That's what I meant to say. I'm sorry. Been having problems with the think brain recently, which is unfortunate. But yeah, it's kind of got a World of Warcraft vibe to it, and just a lot of the images are inexplicable, and then you have, you know, pictures from the actual game. The most bizarre one is this picture of an orc, a lady in armor, and then the top picture is the title screen from the actual game, but upside down. I don't know why they did that. Yeah, aside from that, not much else I can say. I also get the sneaking suspicion that these were taken from DeviantArt, possibly some of the artwork. That's what it looks like, which if true, would be unfortunate for that person, or fortunate, I guess, depending on your personality, I suppose. But we'll cover that in more detail in the actual video overview. Plans for people I'm going to contact. I've had some suggestions. The big ones are the cutting room floor. I might talk to people on the Pirate Game Central forum, and then Kevtris is another option, I guess, potentially. Zigzagoon, the ultimate mon. Okay, there we go. We leveled up Torchic. That took much longer than it probably should have, to be honest. This game is good, I'd say, but is a considerable grind, probably. That's how it'll turn out being. I guess we can go up here. That's sort of an issue with those other ones, though, too. Especially Pokemon Yellow. Pokemon Yellow is an enormous grind. And then Pokemon Gold/Red by Waishin, that's sort of its own thing. That one's weird, though. That one's really different from a Pokemon game. Like, these are, of course, like, make some concessions, being, you know, demakes and all. But they emulate the Pokemon gameplay much more closely than the Waishin game does. That's the one, for those of you who were here for that stream, where the trainer is the Pokemon, and when you run out of your pool of PP, then you just lose the battle, which is pretty lame. I mean, I guess here it's not any better. You get locked into an infinite loop, but it's much easier to manage. I guess we could go fight that guy and see how much a whole level nets us. Might be good to check out. Gotta say, this is one of the like best moments in me doing YouTube so far, is getting a chance to mess with this and sort of contribute just even the slightest bit to this hobby that I really enjoy. That was your final mistake. I'm sending out the big boy now. Wait, what? What the heck? Oh, there. What the? I don't know what I was doing. Cannot defeat me. Too good at the game. Oh no. No, Zigzagoon. I guess it's up to Dog. Hooray. That is much harder than it has any right to be. That grind in Soul Silver too, I don't feel like it got as instantly annoying as it has here. These games really make up for some of those gameplay shortcomings though, and just how nice they look, and like 8-bit versions of these 16-bit graphics. Like I remember watching Tom play, you know, Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, because I was never really into the games, but I remember seeing him play them, and seeing it represented here is just such an interesting little thing. So we'll try and level up Torchic some more. Zigzagoon seems like he might be a really good Pokemon to try and make a main on the team, though. And I'm not sure why. I'm not entirely sure how accurate the typing is in this. Is it normal for a Zigzagoon to just completely destroy an entire team? It's nice to be able to have a weekend. Like after... Like I had spring break last week, but I really wasn't able to do any sort of videos or anything. Which was unfortunate, but... Man. These weeks can be killer sometimes. It was just reminded me of that because... I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I'm actually doing a paper on bootleg gaming for one of my classes, which may be the dorkiest thing I've ever done. I'm not quite sure. It doesn't exactly live up to my like the last paper I really did, which was like an analysis of the bombing of Hiroshima. I don't know how this paper about silly bootleg games is really going to stack up against that one, but it's something I've been thinking about, and it's just been sort of along with this game, getting this game, I've just been really thinking a lot about how I want to start approaching this stuff from a more... I don't know. Well, I guess I already try and approach it sort of analytically, but just start writing about this stuff more seriously, I guess. Start trying to compile some of my information, and I don't know. Just something I've been thinking about. This new attack is great. Zigzagoon can no longer defeat me. I mean, I love the bootleg games, Waiki. I love everything that all those people do, but I don't know. It's just gotten me thinking about all these ways that we could, well, that I could try and help preserve this stuff too. Because reviews are pretty good, but I don't feel like I'm doing enough to try and make people aware of this. Because there's so much technical expertise going on here. It really is. It's just really impressive, and there's just a great chance that this stuff will just disappear. And already, so much of it is written off, right? Because it's a bootleg and therefore bad. At least that's the assumption. And I made that video where I kind of discussed that a little bit, but that's my feelings as of right now, that I kind of want to start, you know, getting out there a little bit more. I even, something I never have even dreamed of doing, really, was a Nintendo website that does, like, reviews and news and stuff and opinion pieces. They're looking for a writer, and I've never really been interested in writing or anything, but like I actually contacted them and like submitted some of my reviews. Like, are you interested in this sort of thing? And they weren't, because they're looking for like written articles, and I'm doing video reviews currently, which it plays into another element of this, I guess. Oh, I thought that was Zelda music for a second. I recognize the song. Wow. I kind of liked it. It's sort of fun. I recognize that. I sound like a person like at Ready Player One. That movie looks awful. Oh, I guess I talked to the right guy. I don't know if they do this in actual Ruby and Sapphire, but I appreciate the fact that there are people literally gating my progress, so I know, oh, I gotta go talk to some people before I can move on. I know that kind of defeats some of the appeal of an RPG, but it helps someone like me. This is our dad, I think, in the story. Runs a gym or something. So what's going on now? What? Something happened. Oh wait, was that okay? Yeah, I kind of remember something like that. That was his student or something. Maybe he was teaching that kid, and we went out and catched a Pokemon. Can't go in there. Can't do that. Oh, we succeeded. Oh, I hope we can get a one of those idiot bird creatures soon. Oh no. I'm gonna say that guy's name is Chestnut. Isn't that a grass type? I'm pretty sure this is a fire move. I recognize that symbol a little bit anyway. So I'm just gonna make a guess that the typing is different or perhaps glitched. Oh shoot, I hit the wrong one. I mean, it definitely does more than like a normal attack. And this guy isn't completely stomping me like Zigzagoon did, so... I mean, that must count for something, I guess. Well, Sparrow or something. Spearow? Another little thing that I appreciate, it's just the most basic thing, but it's still nice, is that the bars actually move. They don't just kind of like teleport to the next point. Like they actually drain. It's these little things that I just find so amazing. It'll be interesting too. So like I said, we're hitting sort of this like really interesting point with aftermarket NES games, right? And we're going to see another huge, to be perfectly honest, garbage dump of games coming up. I think I've tried to discuss this a few times before, but that NES Maker program, removing the barrier, the huge barrier of entry for programming NES games. In one respect, it's really cool. Like, I went for the Kickstarter. I think it's pretty neat. Just on it from a technical aspect. But in another way, giving everyone the ability to make NES games is just going to completely flood the world with some of the worst stuff. And I don't say that because I think that people can't make great games or anything like that. It's just from what I've seen on the Facebook group of people who are really passionate about this tool and are really hyping it up. I'm not not exactly optimistic from what I've seen. I could be proven wrong, but my initial impression is that these people don't know what they're doing, and they're missing sort of what the NES is all about. Like, I don't know if the NES is suited for like psychological horror games, for example, like Eternal Darkness, right? Oh, we could get this guy. Let's try and get this guy. heal up. And the other thing is too is that it uses modules. Okay, so you have all these presets, and it's pretty customizable from what I've seen. But basically, they're engines, right? So there's like 5 or 6 engines you can use: shooter engine, RPG engine, adventure game engine. And so you're just gonna get a lot of games that play exactly the same, and you can't be guaranteed as to, you know, how well the engines were made either. And then it's just up to really what the scenario is. And I'm not confident. Maybe we'll look at some one day. Something that Mac Derby said a long time ago. Maybe it wasn't that long now. It was back during that Luigi's Mansion 3 video. Speaking of Luigi's Mansion, we might talk about that Nintendo Direct. Anyway, he said that a thing about the channel that I could do was explore like the very weird, like strangest aspects of gaming. In the case of that video, I was looking at a fake game, which is different than a bootleg in that it's not real, but it was like a Wikipedia page, essentially, about it. Very bizarre. And so this might be the next iteration of that. Oh. This guy's strong, but can he defeat my Zigzagoon? He's too good. Zigzagoon's a champ. I don't know why he does so good. Oh wait, am I fighting somebody? Oh, I'm a complete moron. At least Zigzagoon was there, because I am an idiot. Disappointed. I was trying to snatch that guy's Pokemon. It's a shame that there's not like a Coliseum port out there yet. I just see 2 more people stop by, so I just want to like reiterate what exactly this is. This is a port of Pokemon Sapphire, it seems, that is called Pokemon Diamond Part 1. So that's what's going on here. If you're like, why is this Gen 3? Even though the title of the thing says Diamond. That's why I put it in quotes too. So. Okay. Sorry, like I said, my throat's not doing the best. So about that Nintendo Direct. Okay, we need this guy, obviously. Face like that. I need it in my collection. Your lightsabers will make an excellent addition to my collection. Yeah, that Nintendo Direct. So I was pretty happy with it. I was glad to see some more 3DS stuff. I basically don't play my 3DS anymore. Oh, I see we've Zigzagoon is his match. I basically don't play my 3DS anymore. I love the thing, but we have the Switch now. And the Switch is amazing, so I'm all about that Switch. But I was happy to see that the 3DS is getting a fair amount of games. Luigi's Mansion was really cool. That WarioWare game was cool. I've been wanting a WarioWare game for a while now. I'd like to see a console one if we could. But yeah, just a lot of really neat stuff. And and on 3DS, that is. And as for Switch games, what all? There was a ton of stuff. It was pretty crazy, actually. Nice. But the big one was Smash Brothers. I don't know if I've really talked about it that much, but Smash Brothers, not my favorite. Like, each individual one I wouldn't call my favorite game, but as a franchise, definitely my favorite franchise. way long time ago, 2014 I want to say, I recorded a Smash Brothers podcast for the Wii U version. I since like delisted that video because I just think it wasn't the best. It was like a roundtable discussion, and we did, you know, the discussion was pretty good, but just horrible audio, and my style's kind of different now. But I love speculating about Smash Brothers endlessly. I have that same issue as Game Explain in that regard, I guess. Me and Andre aren't too different after all. Oh, here we go. So, Team Aqua. So that confirms it, right? Unless they're in Emerald. I guess this could potentially be a version of Emerald. This nerd can't beat me. Fool. That was the easiest guy yet, and his Pokemon was pretty strong, too. I just gotta figure out how it works. What would be really interesting is if they implemented some like really bizarre thing where like effectiveness is on a per Pokemon basis. That would be insane. Be kind of a nightmare, actually. Okay, let's send out the big boys now. Brother versus brother. Oh, my guy missed. I didn't even stop to think what this guy's name was. Stop for a Pokedex check. Torchic. I don't know why the starters are the ones with the worst kind of, like, dead eyes. This is the one I'm interested in. Let's see what it says. Okay, took the picture. The name, Monsters. Is that correct? Did I take a picture of the wrong thing? Not be surprised. I'm having kind of an off week. Let's try that again. It's the Eater Beast. Suppose that's accurate. Thanks a ton. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'll try and do better about posting videos. Okay, the description says, the heart can barely see a jump of 1. Its movement looks like... Okay, well that was not helpful at all. Yeah, I'm sorry that I don't really post much. I'm trying to get better. It's really just about allocating my time. I don't know if I've mentioned this actually. I have a huge video that I've completely written out and I've recorded all the footage for it. I just need to record my lines, but it is an extremely comprehensive overview of SNES bootleg fighting games, which all essentially use the same engine and are all essentially garbage, but I do go into a fair amount of detail about it and break down each game and talk about its own little quirks and stuff, and, you know, try and come to some sort of conclusion, I guess, so. Oh, I also talk about Unholy Knight, which is a very recent unlicensed game by former SNK staffers. And that one is really bad and has some hilarious English translations to boot. How many Pokemon does this guy have? Okay, there we go. I was beginning to get worried that we were stuck in a loop or something. I think we got a pretty good team. We don't need the likes of, oh wow. How much HP did I have there? Okay. Also another thing that I'll give it is that it does a fairly good job with the palettes too. Like, I was thinking, like, you know, this Sparrow or whatever it's called, it doesn't look great, but, you know, overall the palettes are pretty great. Zigzagoon looks really accurate. Wurmple does. This guy does more or less. This guy's really good. Definitely a good addition. This was pointless. Let's send in... What is this guy's name? Slackoff? Slow Keen? Something like that. Yeah, I think this one's Slackoff. Then its second stage is Vigoroth, and then Slowking. And I remember that because I think I had the TCG cards forever ago. Oh no. Oh, I guess the face isn't that bad. The face looked kind of funny at first. It's not too terrible. No problem. I always appreciate hearing from people in chat. This will heal him up real quick. What all do I have here? Super Potion. This is probably Antidote. No, this is a better Pokeball, right? Those last two symbols look the same, so that's what I'm gonna guess. No, you fool! You big idiot. You'll have to face my own, I guess. How disappointing. I am not good at Pokemon. I'm just... It's not a series that I'm any good at. I've played multiple Pokemon games on streams at various points in my life, and I've never been good. The nice thing was, in a lot of the past streams, I had Tom there to balance things out. But now he's at, you know, college. I'm helpless. I'm in this brave, strange new world myself, and it's horrifying. Where am I gonna get kicked back to? That person had one Pokemon. I couldn't take down a single one with a team of 6. Because I've played Bootleg Green. I've played... Well, I guess I played the Pokemon Yellow. That wasn't on stream. I played Pokemon Advanced Adventure, which is one of the worst ROM hacks I've ever experienced. Total garbage. Written by a highly pretentious person. And that's coming from me, I guess, which might seem a little bit ironic, but yeah, it's nuts. It's bad. The like page talks about how it's like the real Pokemon story that you've been looking for, and it is silly. And all the NPCs basically say the same thing. It was memorable, though. Which is always something I need to say. Some ROM hacks are completely unmemorable. Oh, slack off, you fool! You've doomed us all. Yeah, controls are a little touchy. There we go. Okay. Oh man. I didn't mean to do that. Oh, it's a Lotad. That's one of my favorite guys. It evolves into like something kind of ugly, but I really like Lotad. I think it's Ludicolo is what it turns into. And there might be a middle stage as well. Remember those guys from Coliseum, but this is my favorite one. Man, I would love a Coliseum demake. There was a Pokemon Stadium demake, but that one is horrible. Like most Super Nintendo bootlegs, which is the saddest thing ever. I love the SNES, but when it comes to quality unlicensed games, the NES has it beat completely. I mean, there's been some decent ones like Super Boss Gaiden. I guess that falls more under the homebrew banner, but that's about as close as we got right off the top of my head. Oh, and then Hong Kong 97, isn't it? That's a classic too, of course. One of the greatest games ever created. But that goes without saying, I thought so. I guess people have been bothering the guy who made that. I didn't even know that people knew who that was. Like, that his identity was known. But I guess people have just been constantly bugging him about it, and he's just like, leave me alone. Let this meme die. I just find that kind of funny. And, like, I can kind of understand it. It's like, he made it as a joke, apparently. So, that takes away a little bit of the magic. And that's what happens when you pester a developer, I guess. Is you lose some of that magic by learning more than you probably ever wanted to. But yeah. It was just kind of strange. Oh, there were double battles in this game, wasn't there? I guess they probably removed that element. Because I think this would have been one of them. Coming up on an hour here. So I might take a quick break. Or something. Or I might just pick this up again some other time. And these... What are these? Trampolines? I think it's supposed to be puddles of water. Shucks. It looks like people can't spot you. You have to, you know, walk up to everybody. Oh no, the magic carp is powerful. Can I do it? Nope. Throwing a new guy. Strong man. Eater beast. Almost at 700 subscribers, which is a pretty fun little milestone. At one point I was on pace for hitting 1,000 fairly soon, but fell off the content creation horse. So, there's that. I do wonder how well suited I am for this kind of YouTube environment. But, you know, it's given me a lot of great opportunities. I can be nothing but thankful for how it's turned out so far. Cat's making noise. Someday I'd like to unravel the mystery of all these games. All the connections. I mean, all these companies are connected to some degree, it seems. But I'd love to learn basically everything about the Shenzhen area developers. I'm not sure what a lot of that stuff is. Just forget it for now. The fact that there's an animation for the door opening is kind of incredible when you think about it. Yeah. Oh. I guess that was some sort of event. We're at the talk to everybody in town part of the game again. Now, this is a classroom where everyone faces this wall, even though the professor is up here. I assume this is the professor. He might be the king. Kind of looks like a king. Yeah, I wonder if this game has a developer's room. It's weird, the menu keeps on popping up for some reason. I wonder why. I think some of the Pokemon games had developer room areas. That'd be kind of interesting to find out. Let's save again. That was wrong. That was wrong. This one? It's bottom one. There we go. Well, this was a lot of fun. I feel like garbage, so I think we're gonna wrap it up there, actually. I would have loved to go a bit longer, but I don't think I can take it, actually. But this is a really great game, and we'll be returning to it, guaranteed. And we'll be returning to a lot of the other games, too. So, thanks for those of you who stopped by. I'm sorry that I'm cutting it short here. And maybe we'll even do a Sunday stream for it, too. Just to play a little bit more, since this one's running a little bit short. Just like to thank everybody again. Have a wonderful night, everybody. And have a good weekend.